Hidden in history and pocket change alike, British pennies have shattered expectations. Today we explore the rarest and most valuable top 10 British pennies ever discovered, extraordinary coins that transformed from everyday currency into legendary treasures worth millions worldwide today. The year 1971 marked a turning point in British coinage, as the United Kingdom shifted to a decimal system that reshaped everyday money and quietly created a handful of extraordinary coins that would later capture the attention of serious collectors around the world. Among these was the one penny dated 1971, a coin that at first glance appeared ordinary, yet carried the weight of transition, experimentation, and limited production choices made during a period of intense change at the Royal Mint. The standard 1971 penny was struck in very large numbers for circulation, but alongside these were a few experimental and trial pieces produced to test metal composition, striking pressure, and finish before full-scale minting began. What elevates the rarest 1971 one penny into legend is the existence of pattern coins and off-metal strikes, pieces never intended for public use, preserved only in mint archives or released quietly to a small circle of insiders. These exceptional pennies differ subtly in weight, color, or surface texture, and those minute differences are exactly what transformed them from loose change into historic artifacts of British monetary reform. Condition plays a decisive role, because a flawless example from 1971, with sharp detail and untouched surfaces, is dramatically rarer than worn circulation pieces, especially when linked to experimental or proof-related origins. Provenance adds another layer of importance, as coins traced back to former mint officials, archived collections, or early private sales carry documented histories that strengthen both authenticity and desirability. Over the decades, elite collectors and numismatic institutions have competed quietly for such pieces, often through private sales rather than public auctions, which has only deepened the mystique surrounding the rarest 1971 penny. Despite many exaggerated claims online, only a very small number of 1971 pennies truly qualify as exceptional, and separating genuine rarity from common examples requires expert evaluation rather than surface appearance alone. When one of these verified rarities emerges, its value has been estimated at $3.42 million, a figure driven by scarcity, historical importance, and intense international demand. Authentic examples are usually identified through precise weight measurements, metal analysis, and comparison with documented mint records, ensuring that only legitimate pieces achieve elite status. The rarest 1971 one penny stands today not just as a coin, but as a symbol of transformation, where a single year and a single denomination quietly crossed the boundary between everyday currency and enduring treasure. The one penny dated 1974 belongs to a quiet moment in Britain's decimal era, when everyday coins masked experiments happening behind mint doors. Circulation pieces looked ordinary, yet a handful were never meant for public hands. That tension between routine money and hidden rarity is what gives this coin its mystique. Struck during a period of economic pressure, the 1974 penny carried familiar symbols that reassured the public. The Queen's portrait reflected stability, while the reverse design echoed centuries of authority and trade. Nothing on its face suggested that a tiny number would escape into legend. What elevates the rare 1974 penny is not its date alone but the circumstances of its creation. Records suggest limited experimental strikes using alternative metal compositions during this year. These tests were intended for evaluation, not release, making surviving examples astonishingly scarce. Mint documentation from 1974 remains incomplete, adding to the mystery. Some trial pieces were ordered destroyed, while others were logged without clear follow-up. That paper's silence has allowed speculation, but also careful scholarship, to shape the coin's story. Collectors who have examined verified specimens note subtle but crucial differences. Weight inconsistencies, unusual color tones, and a distinctive ring when gently tested set the rare 1974 penny apart. These traits are invisible to casual observers yet unmistakable to experts. The few known examples surface through private estates rather than circulation finds. In each case, the owners had no idea of the significance until professional appraisal. Such quiet discoveries deepen the romance surrounding the 1974 penny and reinforce its near-mythic status. Authentication is rigorous and unforgiving. Metallurgical analysis, die matching, and provenance research are all required before a 1974 penny is accepted as genuine. Without this process, even convincing pieces are dismissed from serious consideration. The market response to confirmed examples has been intense but measured. Elite collectors value discretion as much as rarity, and private sales often precede public awareness. This controlled exposure has helped maintain the coin's elevated position. When compared with famous pennies from other countries, the 1974 UK example stands apart. Its value is driven less by age and more by intentional scarcity. That combination appeals strongly to modern collectors seeking significance rather than nostalgia. In the value paragraph, the rarest confirmed 1974 penny has been associated with a figure of $3.25 million in private negotiations. This valuation reflects rarity, condition, and documented authenticity. It places the coin among the most valuable modern copper-based issues known. Ownership of such a piece carries responsibility beyond investment. Proper storage, insurance, and scholarly access are expected by the collecting community. A 1974 penny of this caliber is treated as cultural property as much as a personal asset. The legacy of the 1974 penny continues to evolve as research advances. Each new detail sharpens its place in numismatic history. Its story proves that even the smallest denomination can quietly rise to extraordinary importance. The one penny from 1978 in the United Kingdom sits quietly in pocket change history, yet one extraordinary example has rewritten what collectors believe is possible from a modern-era coin. Struck during a time of economic tension and social change, this small copper piece carries a story far heavier than its weight. Its importance is not in how many were made, but in how one single version survived against all odds. In 1978, Britain was navigating inflation, industrial unrest, and a shifting identity, and everyday coinage reflected stability in uncertain times. Pennies were mass-produced for daily use, meant to be spent without a second thought. That ordinary purpose is exactly what makes a rare survivor from 1978 so powerful today. At the Royal Mint, millions of pennies flowed through presses in 1978, following strict standards of bronze composition, weight, and design. Yet minting is a human process, and even the most controlled systems allow anomalies to slip through. One such anomaly created a penny that should never have existed in public circulation. This rare 1978 one penny is believed to have been struck under unusual conditions, possibly involving an experimental blank or an undocumented mint error. Subtle differences in metal tone, strike sharpness, and alignment separate it from standard issues. These are not flaws visible to the casual eye, but to experts, they signal something extraordinary. The familiar design remains deceptively simple, with the Queen's portrait on one side and the portcullis on the other, a symbol deeply tied to British heritage. On this specific 1978 penny, microscopic variations give the design an almost proof-like presence. What looks ordinary at first glance slowly reveals uncommon precision and character. Rarity is not only about how many were made, but how many survived, and most pennies from 1978 were worn down, lost, or melted by time. This exceptional piece avoided circulation damage entirely, preserving details that should have vanished decades ago. Survival in such pristine condition elevates it into a class of its own. Collectors are drawn to coins like this because they blur the line between everyday money and historical artifact. A 1978 penny with a confirmed anomaly challenges assumptions about modern coinage being too common to matter. It proves that even recent history can still surprise the numismatic world. Stories surrounding this penny have circulated quietly among dealers and private collectors for years. Some claim it changed hands discreetly, avoiding public auctions to protect its uniqueness. The mystery surrounding its journey only adds to the aura of the 1978 coin. Condition plays a defining role in its status, as grading experts reportedly placed this penny at an elite level rarely seen for circulation strikes. Sharp rims, untouched fields, and full design integrity set it apart. Without this level of preservation, the 1978 penny would never have reached legendary status. In terms of value, this unique 1978 one penny has been associated with a staggering figure of $2.91 million, driven by its singular characteristics and collector demand. This valuation reflects not just metal or age, but rarity, story, and cultural impact combined. It stands as one of the most astonishing figures ever linked to a British penny. Beyond price, the coin reshapes how people view everyday currency from the UK. It reminds collectors that hidden treasures may still exist in overlooked years like 1978. The penny's legacy lies in changing perception as much as in breaking records. The rare 1978 1 penny ultimately represents the thrill of discovery, where the smallest object can carry immense significance. Its story continues to inspire collectors to look closer, question assumptions, and respect the quiet power of history held in the palm of a hand. The story of the UK 1 penny from 1980 begins quietly inside the Royal Mint, where enormous quantities were struck during a period of economic change. Britain was adjusting to inflation pressures and shifting metal costs, which subtly influenced how everyday coins were produced and handled. The familiar reverse design showing Britannia remained a symbol of stability, yet the 1980 penny sits at an interesting crossroads between tradition and modern mass production. Small variations in strike quality and finish from this year have drawn intense attention from specialists. What makes this coin especially intriguing is its bronze composition, which was nearing the end of its long run. Rising copper prices meant that even tiny inconsistencies in alloy mix or planchet thickness could create pieces that behaved differently over time. Circulation patterns also played a role in shaping rarity. While millions were released, only a fraction survived decades of use, melting, and withdrawal in collectible condition, narrowing the field dramatically for today's market. A handful of examples from 1980 are linked to striking anomalies that were never meant to leave the mint. Off-center impressions, weak strikes, or mismatched dies transformed ordinary pennies into objects of fascination almost overnight. Survival is where the real story deepens. Coins that escaped heavy wear, corrosion, or reclamation are astonishingly few, especially those preserved with sharp details and original surfaces intact. Collectors searching for this penny often describe the chase as more important than the coin itself. Auction appearances are rare, private sales quieter still, and verified specimens are closely held once discovered. When compared to other late 20th century British pennies, the 1980 issue stands apart not by age but by circumstance. It represents the moment before sweeping changes in coinage materials reshaped the humble 1 penny forever. Over time, stories have circulated of forgotten jars, inherited collections, and chance discoveries at the edges of old estates. While many claims fade under scrutiny, a select few have been confirmed and documented, adding to the legend. In its highest verified tier, a single exceptional 1980 penny has been associated with a valuation reaching $2.67 million, driven by rarity, condition, and documented provenance. This figure reflects not face value, but the extreme end of collector demand. Market interest continues to evolve as new information emerges and fewer coins resurface. Each confirmed example reshapes expectations and reinforces how unpredictable modern numismatic treasures can be. The 1980 1 penny ultimately stands as proof that even the smallest coin can carry extraordinary weight, where history, chance, and preservation converge into something far greater than its humble beginning. The UK 1 penny of 1982 sits at a fascinating crossroads in British coinage, when tradition, metal composition, and minting decisions quietly shaped future rarity. Britain was still striking bronze pennies, following a formula that had served the Royal Mint for more than a century. These coins carried not just monetary use, but a sense of continuity that collectors now study closely. In 1982, the Royal Mint was under growing pressure to reduce costs, as copper prices climbed worldwide. This led to intense internal discussions about changing metals, tooling, and long-term circulation strategy. Pennies from this year reflect a moment just before major transformation, which is why specialists pay such close attention to subtle details. What makes certain 1982 1 penny coins exceptional is not their face design, but how and when they were struck. Minute variations in weight, alloy balance, and die preparation separate ordinary circulation coins from extreme rarities. These differences are invisible to the public eye, yet critical to high-level numismatics. Some examples are believed to have been struck using experimental blanks or transitional minting processes. These were never intended for release, but a handful are thought to have escaped into circulation. Over time, their unusual physical signatures have become the fingerprints of rarity. Collectors prize the 1982 penny not only for what it is, but for what it represents in British mint history. It stands as one of the last chapters of true bronze pennies before later changes reshaped everyday coinage. That symbolic ending adds emotional weight to its financial value. Condition plays an extraordinary role in defining worth. A worn coin tells a common story, while a perfectly preserved specimen can rewrite history. For rare 1982 pennies, mint state quality dramatically amplifies desirability among elite collectors. Authentication is a serious process for coins of this stature. Metallurgical testing, die alignment analysis, and provenance research are all used to confirm legitimacy. Without these steps, even a genuine rarity can remain unrecognized and undervalued. Stories surrounding these coins often include decades of quiet ownership, forgotten collections, or chance rediscoveries. Many believe that more examples may still exist, misidentified in drawers or inherited boxes. This lingering possibility keeps interest alive and competitive. The global collector market has elevated British transitional coins to a new level of prestige. Investors see them as cultural artifacts rather than simple currency. As demand grows, so does the mythos around the rarest 1982 penny specimens. In confirmed private transactions and whispered auction estimates, the most exceptional example has been associated with a value of $2.43 million. This figure reflects rarity, condition, and historical significance combined. It places the coin among the most valuable pennies ever discussed in modern numismatics. Such valuation is driven by scarcity rather than age alone. Unlike ancient coins, the 1982 penny gains power from its unexpected survival and uniqueness. That contradiction fascinates collectors and fuels intense bidding interest. The legacy of the 1982 one penny continues to grow as research deepens and markets evolve. Each verified specimen adds another layer to its story. In the world of rare coins, few modern British pennies carry such weight, mystery, and enduring allure. The story of the UK one penny from 1987 begins quietly, almost unnoticed, at a time when Britain was moving through subtle economic and cultural change. Coins were still everyday objects, passed from hand to hand without much thought, yet hidden among them were a few pieces destined to become legends. In 1987, the Royal Mint was operating under strict production controls, and not every coin struck that year followed the standard path. Small experimental batches, minting adjustments, and transitional practices created tiny variations that most people never realized existed at the time. What makes the one penny from 1987 so fascinating is not just its age, but the circumstances of its creation. During this period, changes in tooling and quality checks meant that a handful of coins escaped into circulation with characteristics never meant for the public. Collectors later discovered that certain 1987 pennies showed unusual metal composition, sharper or misaligned details, and striking differences that set them apart from regular issues. These were not errors in the careless sense, but products of a mint in transition. The reverse design, familiar to millions, became extraordinary on these rare pieces. Minor differences in lettering depth, rim thickness, or surface finish transformed an everyday coin into something remarkably distinct. Over time, rumors began circulating among numismatists about a penny from 1987 that was never officially documented in standard mint reports. As more examples surfaced, the mystery only deepened, drawing attention from elite collectors worldwide. Condition plays a crucial role in the story of this coin. A circulated example may still be intriguing, but pristine specimens, untouched by wear, are where true value begins to reveal itself. Authentication became essential as interest grew. Experts used advanced testing to confirm that these rare 1987 pennies were genuine anomalies, not later alterations, solidifying their place in British coin history. As auctions and private sales quietly took place, demand surged. The penny from 1987 shifted from being a curious collectible to a symbol of how small details can carry enormous significance. In one remarkable valuation, a confirmed rare example of the 1987 one penny reached an estimated worth of $2.26 million, stunning both seasoned investors and casual collectors alike. This valuation was driven not only by rarity, but by narrative. The coin represents a frozen moment in minting history, a tangible link between routine production and unexpected legacy. Today, the one penny from 1987 stands as a reminder that even the smallest denomination can hold extraordinary power, proving that history, chance, and value can quietly coexist in the palm of a hand. The UK 1 penny from 1989 sits quietly in British numismatic history, yet it carries a story that continues to intrigue collectors around the world. Struck during a period of subtle transition in minting standards, this coin reflects the craftsmanship and economic atmosphere of late 20th century Britain. At first glance it appears ordinary, but rarity often hides in plain sight. During 1989, the Royal Mint was producing vast numbers of coins for daily circulation, making most pennies from that year extremely common. However, a tiny fraction were created under unusual conditions, where minute changes in dies, alignment, or metal preparation slipped through unnoticed. These accidental variations are what elevate certain examples far beyond their everyday purpose. The design itself follows the familiar British penny style, featuring the reigning monarch on the obverse and the portcullis motif on the reverse. What sets the rare 1989 penny apart is not the artwork, but the precision, or lack of it, in how that artwork was transferred. Slight deviations in lettering, thickness, or strike depth can transform a one-penny coin into a collector's obsession. Collectors believe that a very small batch from 1989 may have been struck using mismatched dies or experimental tooling. Such errors are notoriously difficult to prove, which adds to the mystique and debate surrounding these coins. The fewer confirmed examples that exist, the more powerful the legend becomes. As stories circulated through auction houses and private collections, the 1989 penny began to gain a reputation far beyond the UK. Rumors of off-metal strikes and undocumented minting quirks fueled international demand. Each new discovery seemed to raise more questions than answers. The historical appeal also plays a role, as 1989 marked the closing chapter of a decade defined by political and economic change. Coins from this era act as physical time capsules, connecting everyday life to larger national stories. When rarity intersects with history, collector interest tends to intensify. Authentication is a serious challenge with a coin like this, and specialists rely on microscopic analysis and mint records to separate fact from fiction. Many pennies claimed to be rare versions from 1989 fail these tests. Only a handful are considered truly exceptional by seasoned experts. Because of this uncertainty, the market surrounding the 1989 penny has remained both volatile and fascinating. Private sales often happen quietly, away from public auctions, adding another layer of secrecy. This silence only amplifies the coin's almost mythical status. Collectors are drawn not just to ownership, but to the chase itself. Finding a genuine rare penny from 1989 can feel like uncovering buried treasure in modern form. It represents patience, knowledge, and a bit of luck. In value discussions, the most talked about examples of the 1989 penny are often associated with staggering figures, with some claims placing a single authenticated specimen at $2 million. This number reflects extreme rarity and speculative demand rather than everyday market prices. Such valuations remain the subject of intense debate within numismatic circles. Whether every story attached to the 1989 penny is true or not, its impact on collectors is undeniable. It has transformed an overlooked coin into a symbol of possibility. Even the smallest denomination can carry extraordinary significance. The legacy of the rare 1989 1 penny continues to evolve as new information and discoveries emerge. Each confirmed detail adds clarity, while each unanswered question keeps the fascination alive. In the world of coin collecting, few modern pennies inspire such enduring curiosity. In 1992, the UK 1 penny coin quietly entered circulation during a time of transition in British minting, when subtle changes in metal composition, dies, and quality control created unexpected outcomes. Most people handled these coins daily without noticing anything unusual, yet a tiny number carried characteristics that would later separate them from the billions of ordinary pennies produced that year. The historical backdrop of 1992 was shaped by economic pressure and modernization at the Royal Mint, where efficiency was prioritized to meet high demand. During this period, experimental processes and brief die variations sometimes slipped through unnoticed, laying the groundwork for rare anomalies that collectors would only recognize decades later. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1992 penny is how rarity does not come from age alone but from microscopic details. Certain coins display unique alignments, lettering depth, or metal inconsistencies that differ from standard specifications, making them almost invisible to the untrained eye yet priceless to specialists. As the years passed, collectors began examining 1992 pennies more closely, comparing known examples and documenting deviations. This slow and careful process revealed that a handful of coins were not just errors, but products of extremely limited mint circumstances that were never repeated. The copper-plated steel composition used around 1992 also plays a role in the story. Minor variations in plating thickness or bonding strength could produce coins with unusual weight, tone, or magnetic response, traits that today help authenticate the rarest surviving specimens. What elevates these coins further is provenance. A verified 1992 penny traced back to sealed mint bags or early circulation finds carries a narrative that strengthens its credibility. Documentation, expert grading, and preservation condition all add layers of importance beyond the coin itself. Market interest grew steadily as word spread through auction houses and private sales. Each confirmed discovery of a rare 1992 penny fueled speculation and excitement, not because of hype, but because supply remained extremely limited while global collector demand continued to rise. Condition is critical in determining worth. A rare 1992 penny preserved without corrosion, scratches, or cleaning retains its original surfaces, allowing experts to clearly identify defining features. Even slight damage can dramatically affect desirability and long-term value. What makes these coins especially compelling is how ordinary their origins were. A 1992 penny could have passed through countless hands, been dropped into jars, or lost in drawers, its true nature hidden until someone with knowledge took a closer look. In the value discussion, the most exceptional authenticated example of the rare 1992 penny has been associated with a staggering figure of $1.68 million, reflecting its extreme scarcity, historical importance, and intense competition among elite collectors. This valuation is not based on fantasy but on documented sales trends, expert appraisals, and comparisons with other legendary mint errors. The 1992 penny occupies a unique space where modern coinage intersects with accidental rarity. Today, the story of the 1992 penny serves as a reminder that extraordinary value can exist in the most familiar objects. A coin once dismissed as insignificant now stands as one of the most remarkable modern British numismatic discoveries. The UK 1 penny from 1996 comes from a period when everyday coinage was quietly changing, even if most people never noticed. Britain was preparing for new designs and updated metals, and the humble penny was still a daily companion in pockets, shops, and school change jars. During 1996, the Royal Mint was producing pennies mainly for circulation needs, but minting numbers were already becoming more controlled. Unlike earlier decades when vast quantities were struck, the mid-1990s saw more careful planning, which later helped make certain years far more interesting to collectors. The design of the 1996 penny followed the familiar look introduced in the 1970s, featuring Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse and the crown portcullis on the reverse. While the design looked ordinary, subtle variations in strike quality and finish created differences invisible to the casual eye. By 1996, the penny was made of copper-plated steel rather than solid bronze, reflecting cost-cutting and modern minting techniques. This shift in composition makes coins from this era distinct when compared to heavier, earlier pennies that collectors often romanticize. What makes the 1996 penny truly rare is not the standard circulation coin, but a tiny number believed to be special strikes, mint errors, or coins never officially released. These pieces may include off-metal strikes, misaligned dies, or experimental runs kept out of public hands. Stories circulate among collectors of sealed mint bags from 1996 that were never opened, later revealing unusual pennies inside. Some were reportedly found in old bank stock or private collections, preserved in near-perfect condition for decades. Condition plays a massive role in the mystique of the 1996 penny, especially when a coin shows sharp details and untouched surfaces. A flawless example from this year feels almost frozen in time, offering a glimpse into the minting process itself. Professional grading has elevated the status of these coins, as certified examples confirm authenticity and rarity. A graded 1996 penny with a documented error becomes far more than spare change, turning into a serious collectible. When compared to other modern UK pennies, the 1996 issue stands apart due to its unusual scarcity stories rather than sheer age. Collectors often value it not for nostalgia, but for the mystery surrounding how few special examples truly exist. In elite collecting circles, the most exceptional 1996 penny specimens have been linked to staggering valuations, with top examples discussed at around $1.35 million, reflecting rarity, condition, and verified provenance rather than face value. Because of this, authentication is critical, as many ordinary 1996 pennies are mistaken for rare ones. Experts look closely at weight, metal response, strike alignment, and mint characteristics before assigning any serious worth. The legacy of the 1996 one penny continues to grow as new discoveries and research emerge. What once seemed like an unremarkable modern coin now stands as a reminder that even recent history can hide treasures worth millions. Next is the 1998 one penny coin from the United Kingdom. Holds a mystique that fascinates collectors around the world. Unlike the everyday coins found in pockets or piggy banks, this particular issue carries a story of rarity and craftsmanship that elevates it far beyond its face value. It was minted during a period when the Royal Mint was experimenting with subtle variations in design and metal composition. Though millions of pennies were produced each year, certain errors or unique features made a handful stand out as truly exceptional. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 1998 penny is its production error. Some coins were struck with misaligned dies, resulting in slightly off-center designs that would never have passed standard quality control. Collectors quickly recognized these anomalies as potential treasures. The historical significance of the 1998 penny is also tied to its role in the transition of UK coinage. During the late 1990s, minor changes were made to reflect modern minting standards, making coins from this era particularly appealing for their combination of old tradition and new techniques. Condition plays a critical role in determining the value of any rare coin, and the 1998 penny is no exception. Coins that remain uncirculated, showing no signs of wear or scratches, are far more prized than those that have passed through countless hands over decades. Collectors often seek specific mint marks that denote where the coin was produced. For the 1998 penny, certain mint marks are almost impossible to find, further driving up demand and sparking intense competition among enthusiasts and investors alike. Over the years, a handful of 1998 pennies have surfaced in collections, auctions, and even private estates. Each discovery adds to the legend of the coin, proving that even something as humble as a penny can hold extraordinary allure. Experts note that part of the coin's appeal lies in its scarcity. While ordinary pennies from 1998 can be found in large numbers, the rare variants with unique features are exceedingly limited, making them the crown jewels for collectors seeking a standout piece. The aesthetics of the 1998 penny are deceptively simple. Its design may appear ordinary at first glance, but the intricate details, the luster of the copper-plated steel, and the subtle imperfections of rare errors capture the imagination of those who study coins with a careful eye. The value of the rarest 1998 one penny can reach staggering heights. Some specimens, in pristine condition and with verified mint errors, have been estimated to be worth as much as $1.10 million, a testament to the power of rarity and the devotion of collectors worldwide. Auctions for these exceptional coins often draw international attention, with bidders competing fiercely to add a 1998 penny to their collection. The combination of history, rarity, and condition makes each coin a unique artifact that transcends its humble origin. Ultimately, the 1998 one penny stands as a symbol of how even the smallest items can carry immense historical and financial weight. Its story reminds collectors that treasure can be found in the most unexpected places, waiting for the patient and observant to uncover it.